Hey everyone, I am Sayan, and on today's episode of AiBiz, we are diving into a space where psychology meets technology. We're going to talk about behavioral design and gamification. Is that secret sauce behind why some apps work well and some don't? Joining me is Tetiana Kobzar, a brilliant founder and technologist who's mastered the art of turning digital products into truly engaging experiences. So, if you're a business owner or a leader or entrepreneur looking to understand what truly drives user engagement, then this one's for you. Together, we're going to unpack how design shapes motivation and why the best apps don't just hook us, they help us grow. So, welcome to the show, Tetiana. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with me.
Thank you, Sayan. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. So, of course, it's great to have you here, Tatiana. I've been, really excited to talk about this topic on behavioral design. It's something we experience every day, even if we don't notice it, right? So, let's start right there. How do you define, behavioral design in the context of modern app or web development?
So, behavioral design is about understanding motivation of users and driving and using it to drive them to the desired actions in our app or in our solution.
Hmm. Right. So is it just is it the user journey? For example, say I want to go from let's say I'm in an e-commerce platform, right? And I want to go from the home page to a desired page. Let's call it the cart page, right? So is it about the least number of steps that a user needs to take to make it convenient for them, or is it about something else?
It's a bit different. So that's like the major difference between the usability and behavioral design, and because it's like a feature centered design and human centered design. So the idea of usability is to make it as easy as possible for a person to do the desired action. But when we are taking the behavioral design, it is about them wanting to do it rather
Right.
than making it easy. So it can be even like more steps, but each of the steps are like convincing them that they are making the right
Right.
choice. And so it's
Right.
probably less efficient, but more fulfilling, let's say.
Hmm. Right, right. Get that. And what's one example where a simple design tweak can, completely change the user experience? If you can share.
There is no goal to completely change user experience. It's more about adding the slight nudge for them, let's
Hmm.
say, to make it that really depend on the goal that you want to achieve. Because with you can, it's not necessary to drive them like from point A to point B. It's more complex thing. It's about how do they feel when they use your application or like engaging with your solution. It's more about um, uh, like why they do something rather than make them do it, because the most
Oh.
efficient ways are usually like the fear, scarcity, or like this type of things. But
Hmm.
if you build your applications entirely on those ones, it will
Hmm.
be like not very satisfying. So that's yeah, and that's why for like I'm not sure that there is like example with something like completely changed,
Hmm.
but even like the small features that drive users um, to be more engaged, they make a
Hmm.
difference. So like my favorite
Right.
example is like a progress bar. So for example, when LinkedIn they added this like the progress bar of your profile completeness, like
Right. Right.
everybody started to do it. It's not because
Right.
uh, they it like it changed the experience completely, but this little thing that you want this 100%, and
Right.
that's why people are motivated to do it. Or like if you're all those tiny streaks, So they're not like,
Hmm.
if you're having streak or not, it doesn't make a difference in the whole application experience. But it just, this is one little step, one motivation to do it like consistently every day.
That's fascinating, Tatiana. I love the example that you shared. And yeah, I didn't realize before you said that. It shows how small, design shifts create huge emotional impact. It's almost like we are coding human response, isn't it? And that actually ties perfectly into something I've been curious about, which is gamification. And a lot of people think about it as points or badges, but clearly there's more depth to it. So, in your view, what makes it truly meaningful?
The same thing that I mentioned before, that's about these emotions and the psychological drives that make people do some things. And
Right.
the deep motivation is actually about the user's behavior and about triggering their like natural desires or fears uh, to to make them do something not game related. And why it's gamification term used mostly because games are something that people do for no reason, so just because they want to.
Mm.
So it's not their
Right.
job, it's not their some good things to do, like I don't know, good habits or something. It's just because they enjoy it, or they cannot stop doing it, or they are addicted,
Right.
let's say. But in any
Right.
case, that's not about the logical things. That's more about emotional response, and that's why if we are smartly and responsibly use those techniques in our application, so then we are like nudging people to do
Right.
what we want them to do.
I get that. Get that. And okay, you might call me crazy for asking this, but have you seen like an instance where instead of rising people's motivation to do a task that you want them to, has it ever backfired? Like their motivation just decreases. Let's say, has that ever happened, or have you seen that? In your journey.
Yes, it depends on the users. You cannot make an experience for all. There always will be people who like it, people who love it, and people who don't like it or hate it. So there is
Right.
no silver bullet, no some like universal miracle that works for everyone. So you're anyway targeting, even with the when you are doing the like, gamification design
Mm.
for your solution, you're still targeting some particular groups of people. There are like several frameworks, gamification frameworks that you can build your solution on top of, and it's like takes into account the things that motivate people, their
Right.
psychological types. Like there are like several categorization of players types, user types, and you cannot make something for everybody. So you are targeting, you need to know your audience, you need to understand which is like the majority of them, and you need to try to target them, but you need to be prepared to something that for somebody it's too much. For example, for me, I am a big fan of gamification, and that's my thing, but I cannot do Duolingo, for example. For me it's too much.
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
but uh, but a lot of people love it and use it, and
Right.
all those gamification elements they use a lot of different ones. They actually make them suffer probably, but they're
Right.
they're happy to do it because they need sometimes probably this extra push to the learning or their learning journey. But for me it's too much.
Mm.
Or there
Yeah.
are a lot of apps out there that are using gamification, especially like free to use apps that use a lot of advertisement, and
Mm.
you need to watch ads or do some something on the partner side to earn some in game in-app currency, so all those type of things. It probably works for somebody who has a lot of free time and enjoy this type of internal economy. For me, it's, for example, when I see it, it just kills my engagement. uh, in the contrary, but that's you always, there will be always somebody who thinks that what you're doing is not
True.
is not the best.
True. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's the pivotal thing, and I think a lot of listeners listening to us right now would really relate to that. I mean, understanding who your audience is, I think that's the biggest step, right? You simply can't ignore that. And um yeah, that makes me realize that true engagement is it about competition, it's about connection and purpose. And Tatiana, you have worked with different industries, like you have worked with healthcare, you have worked with edtech. So I just want to maybe not take too much time into that, but just a glimpse of how does gamification differ across those spaces?
I don't think that there is like a limit for the industry where you can use gamification. So that's very
True.
widespread, and you can use it online, you can use it offline, you can use it in your parenting, in your
Mm.
actually um, real life scenarios. I don't know, your fitness level or
Right.
whatever. So that's
Right.
not limited to the some software products or something. But from what I see, it works very well with education, especially with the kids, because kids, they love playing, and their main learning, it goes through the play. And our I mean, a lot of modern educational systems, almost in all countries where I looked, it doesn't have enough of play elements in the learning
Mm.
process. So that's why it works very well, and kids are very engaged, and especially if they can play with their peers, learning something on the way. So that works very well. The same with the healthcare. So why we see a lot again with the kids, if they need to do some, I don't know, at home procedures, practice something, do like take pills, a lot of things, to make it easier
Right.
for them to stay in the hospital. Rehabilitation, actually, rehabilitation or something, things where you need to go through things that are not pleasant, that are hard to do. You need some additional encouragement. And also, we had one project where we worked with elderly people. So that was about a group of people who have some brain injuries or some conditions that require their cognitive abilities checked regularly. And they were so demotivated to do all those endless pen and paper tests, and just replacing this system with I think it was 29 or something mini games on the tablets. And
Wow.
the elderly people, so they're not kids, but they're anyway more, that's more interesting for them than just press the button, just press the
Right.
button to escape of some enemy, or instead of remembering words after the um, doctor, they are just remembering some passwords to go through the spy levels or something. So they are
Right.
much, they're getting better results. It's you can measure much more, and they are much more engaged and much more motivated. So rehabilitation is a very good area for the gamification. And any wellness things, habit tracking, so all those type that require some free will, let's say willpower, and when you that goes difficult, if you need just some little help or additional motivation. So that's a good thing. But it's not limited. I see a lot of application for example, HR as well. That is a very good area for applying gamification, because
Mm.
everywhere where the people, you can you can motivate them
Right.
better with
Right.
some understanding of their behavioral psychology.
That's very interesting. Like it highlights me, that understanding context can really make or break behavioral design. And I guess that balance is also like it shows up in products that are actually, in how products are actually built. And you have been on both the sides, Tatiana, like on creative and as well on strategic sides. And so, how do you manage that tension between innovation and practicality when mapping out the user experience?
It's usually not in the conflict. I mean, you should just when you are building your app, you are thinking about a bit ahead. So, what you are trying to achieve, how do you want your users to feel, and very
Mm,
important is from the like day one, from the first line of code, is to
mm.
collect the data and
Right.
measure everything because sooner or later you will want to improve some metrics and you need to know what to improve because we cannot improve something that we are not measuring. So that's the thing to remember.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. That's where like I feel real innovation happens. And for all the founders and product builders who are tuning in right now, the next big question, and probably the last one as well, which is coming in next, is with AI and the degree of personalization, I would say, on the rise. What or where do you think gamification is headed from here? Um, if you could share.
Forward. So I'm very enthusiastic about AI and the
Right.
ways of um, like of different angles we can look at the product design with the AI. And from the gamification perspective, it's like such a good brainstorming tool. It's a very good like with the agents you can create like your custom flows. You can design the entire system, and you can even like you can design it. You can verify it, you can analyze it, and you can compare different strategies. You can do like very easy competitor analysis. So I have posted in my LinkedIn couple of scripts for like the competitive analysis for
Right.
gamification ideas. So there are like a couple of good custom GPTs already there based on different gamification frameworks where you are just loading the context of your app and it generates you ideas of what you can do, what gamification techniques you can use.
Wow.
You can, yeah, so you can also do like, the projection, comparison, a lot of things. So that's, I see the new a wave of like different gamification, behavioral design ideas in the apps that are coming and being developed.
Wonderful, Tatiana. This was totally a very refreshing perspective. Thank you so much for joining us, Tatiana. Just
My
before
pleasure.
we wrap, just before we wrap things off, Tatiana, you've talked about your app that gives all these suggestions for gamification based on what type of design you're going for. So maybe for all the listeners who want to reach out to you, what's the best way that they can do so?
That's my LinkedIn. So I would encourage to follow me on LinkedIn. I post there regularly some useful content and my thoughts on the different topics. And I have even this behavioral design Thursday. So every Thursday I'm posting something interesting about behavioral design or gamification. Yep, or my website or my company website. So, yep, you're more than welcome.
Wonderful. Can you mention your LinkedIn? Can you mention your LinkedIn handle or your website so I can include those details in the show notes for the listeners.
Sure, sure. My LinkedIn is Tetiana Kobzar. My company is Diversido, diversido.io.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Tatiana. This
Thank
has
you.
been, really an insightful conversation, and I'm sure for everyone listening, it's been an eye-opening look into how design can shape not just behavior but also growth and purpose. So, with that comes an end to today's amazing episode with Tatiana. She really reminded us that Our most powerful technology doesn't fight for attention, it earns it by helping us become better version of ourselves. If today's talk made you rethink how design influence your daily habits, maybe notice it next time you open your favorite app. What keeps you scrolling, learning, or smiling? You have been listening to AI Biz. I am Sayan, and I'm signing off for today. Until next time, stay curious, stay intentional, and keep designing for impact. Thank you.